see that I will achieve, because I do the things I should, between my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. That I will achieve, because I do the things I should, between my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on to reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, it's time for me to say a very pleasant night to the world, and in particular, St. Kitts and Nevis, and the entire Caribbean region. I'm somewhat tired tonight, but please forgive me. But let me say welcome to all, the entire Straight Talk family, wherever you are on planet Earth. We are on the World Wide Web, so we reach and touch you in Asia. We reach and touch you in Africa. We reach and touch you in Europe. And we reach and touch you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I will say good morning. I will also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And if you're a first-timer, I say welcome. We get first-timers each edition around, because many of you share the link, and for that I'm eternally grateful. And I would like to inform the first-timers that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, we do have a forum to express ourselves freely. And let us in the process endeavor to get St. Kitts and Nevis back to that enviable position of being one of the freest countries, if not the freest country in the entire world. On this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liebert, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And I always like to remind you, and in particular my first-timers, that as your host, I will forever pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness, as I am always reminded. I always, before I come to the program, reflect on the words of a lovely hymn, and an excerpt goes like this: we are called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and right, standing firm for godly justice, bringing evil things to light. So let us seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we all may know the blessings of the doing of God's will. And I say all of that to remind you and to inform the first timers that we do not water down anything on this program. Nothing, absolutely nothing is watered down on this program to make it more interesting, neither by omission nor by exaggeration. Because this program, Straight Talk, is not about sensationalism or creating excitement, especially at the expense of the truth, at the expense of accuracy, facts. Because we always lean on the facts. As I consider it my bounden duty to always present the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, my Straight Talk family, especially when it comes to governance in St. Kitts and Nevis. And I know that through this program we are joined together with people all across the Federation and in the diaspora all around the world. And some of you, or some of us, or some we know very well. And I met some folks in the supermarket yesterday, and I meet people every day from overseas. I don't call names because I have not asked permission. It's always good to see my Straight Talk family, or when someone walks up to you and says, yes, you're part of the Straight Talk family. And I feel good. And I am happy when I can reach out to you, and you can reach out to me and tell the world that you met me. But the others we don't know, and many we will never meet. And through it all, some will agree with the positions of truth that we always advance on Straight Talk. And strange but true, some will disagree. That's the way the world turns. And that's fine, because we should always welcome, we should always anticipate diversity in views, in opinions. But please, what will sadden me, my Straight Talk family, is if we start to become disagreeable. And there's some that are disagreeable on the pages. We don't shut them down. As some people say, me shut them down, block them. But no, let them have their say until they go beyond the pale. Then we will shut them down. But we don't like to suppress discussion, even if it is at variance with our views. But as long as you don't libel and defame anyone, but let's just respect each other, my Straight Talk family. That's all we need to do. And let's in the process thank Almighty God nonetheless for helping us to understand how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us hope and pray for the day when we all sing His praise together. And everyone is talking about unity, because unity is strength. And I know how we are feeling about what's happening around us. The unhappiness that surrounds us, this discontent that surrounds us because of what's going on. Nothing to go on, as we say. And many have approached me, and I understand, and we talk about reconciliation, and I support reconciliation. But I always make the point that I like the approach of the late Bishop Desmond Tutu. If we are going to reconcile, then We must hear the truth. We just don't get back together just like that and brush everything under the carpet. No. That won't work. It won't last forever. It won't last for too long, I should say. Because, like Tutu said, I very well believe it and I promote it. We have to open the wounds. Then we treat them. Else they would not heal, my Straight Dog family. But I want to welcome again my people. And thanks, as I said, for those who share the link as you bring first-timers. And please continue to do so. For the first-timers, I must also inform you that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we at some time include your calls and your emails. And if you're so minded, call in. The numbers are 663-6672 or 646-829-6672. And just to remind us that the program is really scheduled, beg your pardon, from 8 to 10 p.m. I sometimes go over and give you some extra time, especially when I start late. So like tonight, I'll give you back your 5 or 8 minutes, and I apologize again for my tardiness. Some ask for an additional night, but for now, I believe Monday and Thursdays are adequate. We also provide access to our email platform for those who like the cloak of anonymity. We give you access via our email platform, and the address is Straight Talk Patches. That's one word. Straight Talk Patches. STRAIGHTTALKPATCHES. That's one word. Straight Talk Patches at gmail.com. I always must include and welcome my Straight Talk Junior Brigade, I call them. And they do listen. Tristan, the mom and dad of Dwayne, listen for him. He says, ba, da, 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 da. Not the da. I also welcome Shama and Kevin Hanley over there in Nevis, and young Ru Costa in Carolina. We also hail Jamal in Anguilla, Travis and Travon, the latest, newest members of the brigade over there in Ponds Extension. And yes, I continue to hail that special lady in St. Louis. And I promise you're going to meet her soon. We're going to introduce her on Straight Talk for a very interesting program. And I'll tell you much more about it when the time draws nigh. But we say good night. And what about the Queen over there in Texas? I have to explain the Queen in Texas as well. My Straight Dog family, for the information of our first timers, I usually consider our observations in review, after which I present a short dissertation. And our dissertation or thesis I have titled tonight, Widespread Unhappiness Throughout the Federation. And our observations in review are an integral part of Straight Talk, after which I will normally move into my thesis. And following my thesis, then we move to the lines, include your calls, include your emails, as mentioned earlier, so as to allow full participation, my Straight Dog family. And observations is a time when we highlight the current issues, and we do, or some of the current issues, we do some reflection. We may then ask a few questions such as what was achieved or what was accomplished and how has it helped others? What has changed since then? And what can be expected next? And what we have learned as a people. It's important because it is a learning process. So we ensure that each of us teach the other. Each one teach one, as we says. And my first observations, my Straight Dog family, relates to a program we had a few weeks ago when we asked the question. We asked the question as to whether this new director of public prosecution was free to carry out his professional duties without political interference. And we asked whether he was affected by by improper or undue influence from any source, in particular from the Jew cabinet. We asked that question, and we were quite genuine in the question we asked. Like all questions, we ask genuine questions because when things come before us, we try to ensure that there's due process. That's why we ask the questions. So it was a fair question to ask the DPP, I think his name is Adlai Smith. I never met him. Would like to meet him one day. But I believe it was a fair question because the deadline for filing declarations as per the IPL legislation had long passed, my Straight Dog family. The deadline had long passed, and Straight Talk was reliably informed that one of the two members of parliament who we were told by the IPL commissioner, I think that's the title it's called, we were reliably informed that one of the two members of parliament who did not file their assets and liabilities with the IPL commission was a member of the Jew cabinet. And we got that information to us. And the IPL Act or legislation, or piece of legislation, Section 30, relates to the failure to furnish information. And Section 30, which I have posted on your screen. Section 30, subsection 1, in particular, reads, and I quote, "A person who fails without reasonable cause to furnish to the Commission a declaration of further particulars thereof, which he or she is required to furnish in accordance with the provisions of this Act, commits an offense and shall be liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding $30,000 or to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 5 years." That has been amended to 3 years, my Straight Dog family. But that is pellucid, that is clear. And there must be no doubt about that. Former Justice, beg your pardon, Paletta Lance, seem to have had some, what I call trepidation, somewhat of a fear. I don't know why. But she seemed to have had some trepidation herself, as those names should have already gone to the Director of Public Prosecution, Smith. But it seemed like daylight collusion between officials who are expected to do their jobs without fear or favor. And I say so without fear of contradiction. Because this is what the IPL commissioner had to say.
I made mention before about the bolstering of the anti-corruption laws, and which creates the obligation for public servants to file their declarations of assets, income, and liabilities. We have some challenges there. We expected more persons to have filed by now, and we have written to the defaulting persons, and the result has been minimal. It is not good. Parliamentarians, most of them with the exception of 2, they have filed.
Yes, and there should be no fear. If they have filed, the law is clear. A person who fails without reasonable cause, yes, I understand. Who determines that? But to furnish a declaration of further particulars thereof, which he or she is required to furnish, it says shall be liable. There's no discretionary authority given to the commissioner. None at all whatsoever. And the Director of Public Prosecution, on the other hand, came across as a man from overseas. No disrespect, no insularity, but he's from overseas. He came across as a man from overseas who was just full of chat. He himself conceded, my straight dog family. The DPP himself conceded that the perception out there, he brought to his new supposedly independent authority, was this, my straight dog family. This came from him.
I think people really think that nothing is going to happen at the end of this if there's a list of persons. And I'm sure there are probably persons out there thinking, DPP is just talking and so on and so forth. But really, I mean, I'm trying to be as fair as possible to make sure that opportunities have been made available for you to comply. Because the French speaks about the Section 30 offence, which they charge on without a reasonable excuse or without a proper excuse, something for not filing the declaration. You can't say one. I know they say ignorance of the law is no excuse at the same time, but at the same time, maybe for some reason, some persons just may not have known. Persons who want to give them a fair opportunity.
Yes. Give them a fair opportunity. Who determines that? This discretionary issue you've raised. And the deadline passed in April last year, extended to December. And then he extended his deadline to January 26. And then said he would charge by today, February 1st. It's February, by the way. Happy February to everyone. And the entire federation still has its eyes on the DPP. So what? DPP Smith issued this press release today, my straight dog family. DPP Smith issued this press release today, as you can glean from your screen. Then he quickly reissued another release. That's the other release, a reissue, as he calls it, my Straight Talk family. A reissue of the release. But what is important, though, it's the addendum. And you will recognize that the list has been reduced from 9 to 8 persons who would have transgressed the IP law, the IPL law, I should say. But the addendum provides some what I call interesting reading. The addendum to this new release is instructive. And what I like is the paragraph 3, my Straight Talk family. If you read paragraph 3 of the addendum, it says that, and I quote, "In light of this, he made a mistake and he apologized to a young lady who was wrongfully listed as having violated the legislation, the young lady Petty. And he apologized, and that's mature of him. We must give him kudos for that. But this paragraph 3, as you can glean from the from the addendum that have posted on your screens. And it says, and I quote again, "In light of this, I am currently in discussions with the Honorable Attorney General." Yes, that disgraced Attorney General. Imagine having to deal with a man who has himself transgressed the law, have not even apologized to the nation. He continues to pushes his head in the sky. And he passes you, doesn't even say good morning or good afternoon. But we will get even with him. The people will, I'm sure, someday. But he reads, currently in discussions with the Honorable Attorney General to put in place the necessary mechanisms to prevent a reoccurrence of this issue. As indicated in the previous release, there was a need to include administrative particulars, especially given the lengthy list. That's the part that caught my eyes. Given the lengthy list, my Straight Dog family. And I want to stop and allow you to read the rest on your own, but your own leisure. But he spoke about the lengthy list, and having heard from the commissioner herself about not good, the AG spoke about the lengthy list. But do you find that 8 names constitute a lengthy list, my Straight Talk family? I don't think so. What do you think? So when you read paragraph 4, I said 3, paragraph 4 it was, of the addendum. So what we ask the Director of Public Prosecutions, and why if the list is such a lengthy list according to you, why have you only cherry-picked those 8 public officials? That's what it seems. And if that is correct, you have cherry-picked those 8 public officials from such a lengthy list, using your words. Isn't this contradictory to the principle of equality before the law? DPP Smith? This to me looks like the sponsorship of injustice, or to put it more clearly, this looks like selective justice from an independent judicial officer. But Straight Talk will continue to follow this story. My family, because we must not allow selective justice in this country, because everyone must be equal before the law. My second observation tonight, my Straight Talk family, refers to the Good Morning JoJo Sports Show, which is a program normally aired on Observer Radio in Antigua Observer. And one which I normally listen to whenever I find some time. Very exciting, very informative program as it relates to news, regionally, internationally, and locally in Antigua. But interestingly as well, the host, Jojo, made mention of our Prime Minister, Dr. Joe, and was very critical in the process. So yes, he also includes St. Kitts and Nevis. And Jojo said this, my Straight Talk family, very interesting. He said this.
Somebody that sent me a couple of the prime ministers appearing in another sports show about, the West Indies. It might like the Prime Minister of St. Kitts talking about the West Indies team and whatever. St. Kitts don't even have a cricket league. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, no, seriously. You Truth Moon Sama Maga have an opinion. And the thing is, ask them when last time went and watch a local game. Ask them to name 2 local players that you know, or 2 national who haven't made it to the West Indies team. Name 2 players.
Name 2 players, Dr. Joe. And Jojo was reacting to Dr. Joe's response to an Andy Mason question in an interview following the West Indies victory in Australia last Sunday, I think it was, the 20th of January. And Dr. Joe said this to Andrew Mason of Barbados.
St. Kitts flags behind you. Hello to the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. How are you, my friend?
I am doing very well, and how are you? Thank you for having me.
Right. Your reaction to the West Indies' marvelous performance against Australia?
Words are difficult to find to express the elation that I really feel. When I saw that dramatic win and saw how it was done, I just want to take this opportunity to express my sincerest congratulations to the team and to the man of the match, Shama, for the excellent performance that we witnessed. So I think it's a good thing for the Caribbean. We feel a great sense of pride, even though, because it had been a long time since we had won. So my reaction is, this is good for the Caribbean, and we really want to see cricket continue to pick up here in the region. But nonetheless, I'm enjoying the win like all of my other Caribbean people.
Yes, indeed.
And my Straight Talk family, I always make the point that we live in a global village. No matter what you would say, we live in a global village, and with the World Wide Web, we are listened all over the world. And our leaders have to be cautious, have to be wary of the things they say and how they say what they say. But the fact though, nonetheless, West Indies drew their test series with Australia 1-1 after Shama Joseph led a spectacular comeback in Adelaide. But West Indies had not beaten Australia in their own country since some 27 years ago, since 1997. Although Australia retained the Frank Worrell Trophy. Remember that trophy, Frank Worrell, our former captain? And here's Shama Joseph being congratulated by his teammates. But to get back to the comments of Jojo, Here's this. He said St. Kitts don't even have a league, but St. Kitts, Jojo, I believe I will classify it as a mini league because we only have 2 teams, I think. One is from St. Paul's and one is from Molyneux. I stand to be corrected. But St. Kitts has what I will call a mini league. I call it though. That is played at the home of cricket. Not in Warner Park. At the home of cricket over there in Connery. And I don't know if Jew has ever gone there. I have not been there in ages myself. But what positive will come out of this win for St. Kitts cricket? And Jew thinks that positive things would come out of it. Jew thinks it has rekindled our great love and joy for this dying sport in St. Kitts. Not so much Nevis. And Straight Talk has learned that the Ministry of Sports under Samal is currently trying to wrestle the Connery playing field from the St. Kitts Cricket Association. Yes. The St. Kitts Cricket Association gets no subsidy whatsoever from the government. St. Kitts Cricket Association raises its own budgets, has maintained and developed that field over there in Connery, that cricket field. And now we understand that the Minister of Sport, Samuel Duggins, is currently turning a blind eye to his ministry, or perhaps he's guiding that ministry and the Director of Sports to wrestle the Connery play field from the St. Kitts Cricket Association. But, as I said, we are following that story as well. And I'll leave it at that for my observations in review for tonight. And I'll move right into my thesis that I've titled, as I said, Widespread Unhappiness Throughout the Federation. And we ask the question, why are so many Kittitians and divisions so unhappy with the state of the Federation today? And it is because this Jew administration did not get elected because they deserved it. They did not get elected because they deserved to be elected, or because of what plans they presented to the country. They got elected by default, according to the big dread, I call him. And as he put it, they scored an offside goal using football plants. My Straight Talk family.
It seems that really what happened is that it was an offside goal the Labour score. So now the Ghanaian, the people seeing nothing happening. Water God can't get water. The representative move out the community, gotta live in the next community.
And my Straight Talk family, one of the most asked questions by many in the Kittitian and Nevisian diaspora is, how do we who live at home feel about the state of the Federation? And as the dread put it, and for the past 18 months, the answer has usually been in negative. A negative one. Nothing a go on, you would hear the cry. But figuring out why people are unhappy is not complicated. Not complicated at all, my Straight Dog family. St. Kitts and Nevis is having a real rough time under the Prime Ministership of Dr. Terence Michael Drew. Truth be told, things have gone downhill, my Straight Dog family. Things have gone downhill since or for the past 18 or 19 months. My friend has a tendency to say that our country is going down the tube. Dr. Drew has ruined it. He has ruined our country with everything he's done in just about 18 or 19 months. Imagine this. Or imagine my stray dog family. He inherited a situation. Imagine that in 2021, if you look at the revenue and expenditure report, there was a surplus. And that's according to the audit report from 2021. We provide the facts. That's one thing I can assure you. We will provide you with the facts, my straight dog family. And the facts would suggest, dear my straight dog family, that in 2021, for the year 2021, as a matter of fact, if you look at the summary of the financial information provided by the Director of Audit, for the year 2021, Parliament approved an expenditure budget of $868 million, which included $36 million in debt repayment. Revenue for the year was estimated at $773 million. And this included the sale of government lands, which was budgeted to bring in $12 million. During 2021, the report continues, a further $157 million of expenditure was approved by supplementary or appropriation warrants. But hear this, very important. At December 31, 2021, actual revenue totaled $996 million and actual expenditure amounted to $877 million, which resulted in an end-of-year surplus of $118 million. And that is the audit report. And you can look at the graphs in terms of the revenue and where it derived from. But importantly, non-tax revenue, which is CBI, accounted for 61% of the revenue. So my straight talk family, at least we can conclude, my straight dog family, quite easily. And that was 2021, my straight dog family. And when we talk about 2021, or even think about 2021, that was in the heart of COVID. So at least the Timothy Harris prime ministership that promoted a life first strategy guided the Federation through, or I should say, successfully guided the Federation through a pandemic never seen in 100 years, never seen in a century. There was no template. And like a former US president would say, Timothy Harris made St. Kitts Nevis great again. And that's after we had moved out of the dishonest and corrupt shadows of a government of 20 years of misgovernance. That's what transpired. We paid off the IMF debt, over $100 million. We start to repay the over $170 million owed to the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela for the oil that Skellig or the government took from Venezuela and never paid my street dog family. And I'm going to give you a story about the millions of dollars that the government then, the Labour government, spent on these smart meters. I'm going to get that right for you as well, because some people are speaking some nonsense about smart meters. The smart meters were under Douglas and his friend from St. Martin. That company himself and Asim Martin gave a 3-year contract to run Skellig. But we'll hear about that in a subsequent program, because that would need some more time. But the unexpected happened in 2022, and this brought the incompetent leadership of Terence Michael Drew. My street dog family, in 4 months of traveling the world, traveling overseas by these happy-go-lucky ministers of government, new ministers of government, so excited. Every minute they jumped on a plane. It cost the taxpayers millions of dollars. He appointed over 20 ambassadors and advisors. And what happened, my street dog family? The inevitable, the unavoidable happened, my street dog family. Look at it. Dr. Drew racked up a deficit. Dr. Drew racked up a deficit of $107 million at the end of 2022. With only 4 months in office, from August, beg your pardon, to December. All the overseas travel, my street dog family, all this overseas travel, he racked up a deficit of $107 million. Look at the report from the Director of Audit, my street dog family. Reckless is one word we can find to describe that performance. So when we look at the economy, my street dog family, views of the Federation and the economy normally go hand in hand. Just 2 days ago, St. Kitts Nevis made history when we accommodated the largest cruise ship afloat today. My street dog family, the icon of the seas. And my street dog family, someone said the pear is ripe. Everybody wants to eat the pear with bread or eat the pear just like that because it's sweet. And my street dog family, something has concerned me though. After all the carnival-like atmosphere created at Port Zante, Makajumbi, Masquerade, Steel Pan, and the toilets are not fixed, by the way. The toilets are not fixed, Marsha. But why, we ask, why there was no trickle down, or why is there, or why there is no trickle down under this administration? Why? It's a question that we are trying to find answers for. There seem to be no trickle down under this administration. The taxi drivers said this, my street dog family.
These boats coming here, not for us. We here since morning, look at the crowd. Take a picture. Watch you. And want the public to know in St. Kitts that this taxi thing is how it is. These boats coming here, not for us. We here since morning, look at the crowd. Take a picture, take a look. Look at the crowd. Nothing going on for us. Everybody on the icon sleeping. All know they come on.
And that's the taxi man, the ambassadors. Nothing going on for us is their cry. And my Straight Dog family, that's something that needs to be properly addressed. Because we are aware how these cruise ships operate. They come to ports where they can generate the greatest amount of revenue on board the ships. That's a fact. What make destinations attractive are the ones at which these floating hotels can generate the most revenue on board. But that's tourism, my Straight Dog family. And if there is no trickle down to what I call the grassroots economy, then the authority, the tourism authority, and the ministry have some work to do. So it's not about getting the ships and boasting about who brought the ships. It's about the spend in the port, Marshall. That should be your focus. But as we speak about the economy, my Straight Dog family, as we continue to speak about the economy and what's causing the unhappiness in our country, the cost of living is way too high. And that's why the economy is not doing well. And it has been like that, my Straight Talk family, for the past 18 or 19 months. And what is the Minister of Finance doing? What? He has not said what he plans to do. We know he is doing nothing. But what does he plan to do, my Straight Dog family? Some time ago, a single mother cried out to the Prime Minister. Cried out and said this.
It's getting tougher and tougher and tougher. Imagine a little tin of sardine for $5. It's ridiculous, Mr. Prime Minister, and we really need a help, but we do have a rough time.
Having a rough time, the single mothers. A single mother, imagine, cannot effectively support a household on one income. The price of everything is too high. Rent is outrageous. While people trying to get a loan to buy a home, it's unreachable to most. And the disgraced Attorney General was the mouthpiece for the cabinet when he said that there was this housing project, 24,000 homes, but not for the poor people. For whom, you may ask?
It is not government buying the houses or NHC buying the houses. It's individuals buying the houses. This is the solution for persons who are bankable and can take a mortgage loan from a credit union or a bank, and they can purchase their one-bedroom house for $111,000, their two-bedroom for $213,000, and their three-bedroom for $297,000.
Imagine that. They're not bankable. Yet they boast about this housing project. This law student told us about this housing project. You remember this, my Straight Talk family?
Today, as the minister responsible for housing and human settlement, I am pleased to formally announce that the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and National Housing Corporation (NHC) has signed a contract with East Coast Housing Development, a Trinidadian-based developer, to finance and deliver 2,400 affordable smart homes over a period of 4 years, 600 of which will be made available each year.
And my Straight Talk family, but truth be told, if a foot soldier like Big Lies, who used to get or is still getting $10,000 per month, and he is not bankable, then who is? Because Big Lies tried to consolidate his loan. He tried to consolidate his loan and he was found not bankable. They didn't tell him in those words. But surely, my friend Big Lies, that's what they said to you in a different way.
Me code cut off. Now I go on National Bank now, saying, well, I want to consolidate because I owe Skelec, I want to pay Skelec. I owe Social Security, I want to pay Social. I owe my brother, I want to pay him. I owe something else, and so let me consolidate. That is what business people do. Apply for loan in National Bank of $120,000. And the bald-head Adams over there went me and tell me, because of your obligation at Development Bank, they can't give me the loan. I reached out to a man over there on the board, and this is the part that really hurt me. I went to Cosman and said, Cosman, you're on the board. I need you to make an intersection on my behalf. Cosman told me he's not getting involved in the running of the Bank of Years. He missed a political favor, something I beg him, I want something to do. No!
Imagine $120,000 the foot soldier could not get with a salary of $10,000 per month, and he's not bankable. Then how these ordinary poor people can buy a house for $119,000, a one-bedroom house at that, my Straight Talk family? The housing market in St. Kitts, it's terrible. No matter what the slow student would say. Gas prices are terrible. Everything is going high and higher. The economy under Terence Michael Drew is terrible. Cost of living is getting much higher. Go to the grocery store and you will find out, my Straight Dog family. But people are unhappy. Widespread unhappiness throughout the Federation for many reasons, my Straight Dog family. I reminded you, or I must remind you rather, as I mentioned before, the drama television series, the American Police Procedural Crime drama television series called Criminal Minds. I believe that it is being revived because it's series, I believe, which premiered on the CBS as some time way back in 2005 up until 2020. But I must remind you again, because it is about the group of criminal profilers who work for the FBI as members of its behavioral analysis unit, using behavioral analysis and profiling, my Straight Dog family, and profiling to investigate crimes to find the unknown subject or to find what they call the perpetrators. My Straight Dog Family. That show told a story of a team that worked various cases and tackled their personal struggles. And I want to repeat tonight that the Attorney General Garth Lucian Wilkin still has his own struggles with morality, accountability, and integrity in public life. Then how can a director of public prosecution consult a man like that, who obviously has a criminal mind? Even though you would hear him say things like this, my Straight Dog Family, even though you'll hear him say things like this, I submit he has a criminal mind.
Our Procurement Act requires that there be a competitive bidding process to ensure the government gets value for money, and it makes it a crime to spend money from the Treasury without the procurement process being completed.
A crime. But who has committed all these crimes, Attorney General Wilkin? Dr. Drew? He spent money from the Treasury without the procurement process on 2 occasions. One occasion he spent, to date I understand he has spent $8 million on the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Museum. No procurement. And I note he has taken down the sign around there. No work is going on. He also spent $5.8 million. He handed Cashley Allers a contract for $5.8 million. They're scrambling now to find a few motors to appease some people.
We have signed a contract to purchase water storage tanks. So at least when the water truck goes, they have a larger receptacle to store the water. I would also like to thank Mr. Ashley Allers, because he's the one who brought the idea.
My Straight Dog Family, go talk to the people in St. Peter's. This lady said to me that when the fire truck came to deliver water and poured it into her bucket, not the tank, we call them buckets, it tumbled down and all the water went to waste. But I had a professor at university who always said, get up to date, get up to date. Never liked referring to the textbooks. He likes the Financial Times and the Lloyd's List and publications or news journals like that. And as we get up to date, I bring your attention, seriously, my Straight Dog Family, to the criminal mind of Garth Lucian Wilkin, which is presently at work as he is negotiating the construction of the desalination plant with Royal Utilities. The contract is on your desk, Garth Lucian Wilkin. I know that. You may ask, how do I know? But you cannot deny it. There was no request for proposals. Terence Michael Drew, Garth Lucian Wilkin, and the soca engineer. You three remind me of the old saying, thief from thief make God laugh. My Straight Dog Family, the dishonesty of these men is so bold-faced. They all seem to have an excessive desire to become rich. They are dishonest. And I said before that if it was possible, they would deceive God himself. My Straight Talk family. So why? Why is the Royal Utilities being handed this special deal, Dr. Joe, to construct a desalination plant just above or behind Island Bakeries here, coming towards Bird Rock, just below the Delta terminal? Why? Why is Royal Utilities being handed this special deal, this sweetheart deal, so-called engineer Conris Maynard? And why, Mr. Criminal Mind, Garth Lucien Wilkin, why is Royal Utilities being handed this special deal to construct a desalination plant? You have to come to the country and provide answers to these questions. How do we know we are getting value for money? There are so many Caribbean countries all around us have gone desalination. So what's so special about Royal Utilities and construction of this desalination plant? What is so special? I'm repeating this tonight because it hurts. It hurts when these men walk around and they believe, Garth Wilkin, you see, you go to church and you walk in the church like the Pope, but you have a criminal mind. And that was borne out in the court. And every one of these people in government is crooked. They continue to flout the rule of law. And instead they rule by law. And it is sickening. And we are going to ask, someone must ask for a judicial review on these projects. There's time to seek justice for the poor. And my Straight Talk family, I ask, and I'm going to spend some more time, come next program, on this phase of the public benefit option. Imagine a virtual launch of the public benefit option. Who is the face of that public benefit option? A criminal who spent years in a French jail called Michael Philippe. How do you feel, Dr. Joe, rubbing shoulders with a criminal? How do you feel Garth Lucien Wilkin? Well, you shouldn't feel anyway. You should feel comfortable. But my Straight Talk family, we are more divided than we have ever been. We have been so divided as a nation on almost every topic. And Dr. Drew, the division amongst citizens continues to grow. The senseless gun violence, poverty, we can talk about that. Imagine Michael Philippe is the face of the public benefit option of the CBI. Remember? He was declared a persona non grata in Barbados. And when he was, he took a plane to Nevis in the heart of the COVID, and Mark the Snake Brantley welcomed him and his team with open arms and exacted $150,000 US from the Treasury, from the St. Kitts Nevis Treasury, my Straight Dog family. Yes, he did.
Mark Brantley, who is the Premier of Nevis, wanted to diversify the economy.
Yes, there is a financial arrangement with MSR. I believe the number is $150,000.
We are prepared to do 35 films over the next 5 years. Along with our development, we are finalizing the purchase of a hotel in St. Kitts so that we can have a base to produce and train people in St. Kitts.
Yes, and and as we have spoken before, that you will definitely have our support.
And my Straight Dog family, we'll tell you more about this because the snake from Nevis had the heart to speak about the history of this MSR deal with a criminal, my Straight Dog family.
To be truly a special event. Now, let me switch to something that I'm very proud of, and that is our movie industry. Members of the press, sometimes as politicians we propose ideas and we can always be guaranteed in the noisiness that is our democracy sometimes that when these ideas are proposed there will be people who are critical of them. Well, during the COVID-19 pandemic, we recognized that Nevis was on its knees. Our main earner, tourism, was shuttered, borders were closed, hotels were closed, and the result was that we needed something to ease the pressure that we were experiencing. People were out of work. And so we partnered with an entity called MSR Media to come to Nevis and to make movies here.
And my Straight Dog family, MSR Media Limited, that he's so proud of, the snake, call Mia Motley in Barbados. You know her well, Mark Brantley. Call your former colleagues in the Barbados government, and they will tell you that the owner of MSR Media Limited was declared a persona non grata in Barbados. And you sneaked him in under the cover of COVID. You felt it was okay. Because you must have done your due diligence. And your due diligence would have told you that the man is a criminal, convicted criminal. But it was okay to do business with him. My Straight Dog family, I've tarried for long. But I must conclude that there are many, many other issues that can be raised that would answer the question as to why there's so much widespread or such widespread unhappiness throughout the Federation. That's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I am not going to change it. But it's 9:23, and I believe it's time to hear from you. So I will open the lines so as to entertain your calls. The numbers, as I mentioned earlier, they are on your screen. 646-829-6672. It's the overseas line. And the local line is 663-6672, which can be accessed from overseas as well. If you so want to, then you have to include the area code 869. And for those who like the cloak of anonymity, we provide you access via our email platform, which is straighttalk patches, that's one word, at gmail.com. And I always like to implore you, my Straight Talk family. And I open the lines, I'll do so any moment now. But please, respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. And let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us, my Straight Dog family, ensure that we try to do things and say things that are beneficial to all concerned. And in saying and or doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. Believe it or not, I didn't have time to really review that press conference this afternoon by the PLP leader, Dr. Harris, but we will look at that subsequently. But let's go to the lines at 9:25. Caller, thank you.
Mr. Patrick, good night.
How are you, my dear brother? Good night.
And how are you, sir?
I am peaceful. I am peaceful. You got in the opening bat position tonight, I see.
Again, Mr. Patrick. Patrick?
Yes, sir.
All I have to do to give God thanks and praise.
Yes, we all should. We all should.
There is no other thing that I supposed to do for give God thanks and praise.
Always, always.
That is, I went to sleep on Wednesday night, the 31st of January. And the Lord wake me up on the 1st of February. I have much to give God thanks and praise, Mr. Patrick.
Yes,
because God is good.
All the time.
Psalms 107 says, oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for his good.
His mercies.
For his mercy endureth forever.
Yes, my brother.
He said, let the Redeemer of the Lord say so.
Yes, my Lord.
That is, I am going to tell you this here. When the three enemies went up against Jehoshaphat, Jehoshaphat went to the house of the Lord and spread his letter to God. And God gave in prayer and fasting what the people in St. Kitts must do, going to pray and fast toward the Lord will hear them. And so, Mr. Patrick, that when Jehovah there, a voice came unto Jehovah, be not afraid, nor dismayed. He said, the battle is not yours, but the Lord.
Yep.
And the message that went to Jehovah, it tell him, find some singers, put them in the front of the battle. And the message is, start to sing, praise God for his mercy endureth forever. Praise the Lord for his mercy endureth. And when them people start to sing, praise it unto God. You know what happened, Mr. Patrick? That the people, the enemy, who went up against him, they start to fight one another. And they kill one another until they finish one another.
Okay, my brother.
That is going to happen very soon.
Okay.
If the people of God stand up and start to say, praise God for his mercy and joy for us.
Yes.
I will tell you, you see the goodness of God. That's it tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for your spiritual intervention. Let's go to the lines. Thank this caller for holding. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Patches.
Good evening, sir.
How are you doing?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Okay, I know you must have been feeling a proud man tonight to see the largest cruise ship in the world dock at the pier that I guess you were involved building somewhere or the other.
Humbled.
I'm sure you feel proud about that.
Well, I feel humbled, really.
Yeah. Okay. One thing I want to ask you tonight about the housing that they propose to build. Are you talking about the house, the one bedroom cost $113,000?
$119,000, I think it is.
Okay, let me ask you something. Is land involved yet?
Well, they build on your land, so if you need land, or you'll have to buy the land, that will be an additional cost. You have to be on your land, and you have to provide a foundation as well. So it's much more than $119,000 anyway, because the foundation is a cost. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Presently now, the total project that a house, a one bedroom house, for $119,000. My thing I want to find out, that including land.
No, it doesn't.
Because you're going to build a house and you're going to buy it. I mean, that means the house going to build on a piece of land, whether it's government land or what, if you have to pay for the land separate.
Well, if you pay for the land separate, that will carry up the cost. What I'm saying, it is being built on your own land, if you have land, and it's also being built on a foundation on your land. So the land, they put the house down on a foundation on your land. So if you don't have land, then you'll have to buy land and build a foundation. That is my understanding. I'll confirm that, because the Prime Minister did say that. We'll find that sound.
Oh, in other words, what you tell me, you have to provide the foundation separate on
That is correct, yes.
And then they will put on the
house.
Build the house on it.
Yes, so.
So that looks like a double cost you're going to incur there. Because it's the same contract they're going to put on the foundation now. Then you could get your own contract and put the foundation down or what? I'm just trying to understand.
Well, from my understanding, the contractor comes and puts the house down on the foundation. So then it stands to reason that you'll have to find your own contractor for the foundation. Sorry.
I see. Okay. Because I was thinking in terms if the land costs and the house and everything costs $119,000, I don't think that's a bad price. I mean, I was saying, well, for one bedroom for $119,000, I include whether 500 square feet of land or 600 square feet of land.
No, it doesn't come.
So I have to. Oh, okay. Well, I have to do some further investigation. Because that's what I was finding. Because listening to you tonight, I think if the young people get a one bedroom house with land included, fridge and solar water heater panel, as far as I understand, that sounds very reasonable to me. But if you say now you have to provide your own foundation, that is something different. I mean, why should you provide your own foundation and then someone else come just and put up the wall? I don't understand that.
Well,
so please investigate that for me and come with the facts next time you come in and that, please, so people who understand exactly what goes on.
I was trying to find the information which was provided by the Prime Minister himself, right? He spoke about the land. The land is not inclusive, but I'll find out before the program is done. Don't worry, man.
Because if they plan to build 2,000 something houses during that period of 4 years or 5 years, it sounds to me like it's a complete package. When you get a house, you get a complete package with lawn, house, everything, even road, water, electricity. Is that so? I mean, you was a minister of government once, and you should know how the thing work.
When you look at the empirical data, though, right, in terms of housing, but these foreign contractors, they call them, we don't have a good record as it comes to that. Because you could go back, it was this Mongol Singh project just off camps there, the Creek housing project, and the list goes on. But, the package is not as it sounds, right? And even the construction period, because that house is being built now for almost 2 months or 3 months, if my memory serves me well.
Yeah, but do you ever take time out and go over there and drive and see what's happening, how it's building anything?
Oh yes. I posted a information on the program in terms of pictures I took from close up right by the house. We actually had.
Because from what I understand, the Prime Minister it's practically a concrete house. I mean, I don't know if the metal what they're forming going to stay there or what. From what I understand, it's going to be practically a concrete house.
Well, the Prime Minister, with respect, is a medical doctor, right? And he speaks on engineering matters. I don't know why he does that. I mean, let the technical people come and speak a bit.
House not too difficult. I mean, you have a lot of common people building house now, and that's so difficult to understand. I mean, you know that too.
Well, I mean, for him to say that you can go upstairs on this house, I mean, it's so. I can't even find a word. I try to be respectful, but the closest word comes to mind is foolhardy. Because if you want to go upstairs in the house, I mean, the way it was built, you know,
I'm not in the federation now, but as soon as I get a chance to get in the federation, I want to go over and see those houses. I sound interested. I mean, the prices sound good to me. I mean, you get in a house, a piece of land, and what's that for $119,000? I mean, I really don't encourage the young people.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. You're not getting a house with a piece of land. You're getting a house that's built on your land, right?
Okay.
House built on your land. So you'll have to.
And the foundation.
And the foundation. You provide your own foundation as well. I'll find that soundbite. If you listen to the program until then, I'll find that soundbite before we close the program tonight. But thanks for your contribution.
All the best.
Thanks a lot. All the best to you as well, my dear brother.
Bye.
Yes, my Trade Dog family. It's 9:35. I spent some time with that caller, but it was to provide information, accurate information and clarification. But let's go back to the lines. In the meanwhile, I'll come back to that. Caller, you live.
Good evening, Patches.
How are you, my dear brother? Good evening.
I'm great, man. I'm great. You're great too, right?
I am peaceful, my brother. I'm peaceful.
Okay. Now let me start first with the man, the DPP. That is, when we got to realize how many times he extend the deadline for people to what the word here, for them to help me, no, man.
For them to file declarations,
Right, yeah. When we realize how many deadlines he give them, down the line, anybody who fall in that close, they could see definitely something up. Money make the mayor go. And now we reach down to the last deadline. They still want to give people more, give them more time. The way he talking. Because I think when you reach this stage here, this deadline, people supposed to don't be prosecuted and pay the $30,000 or while they were in jail. But I believe butter don't fall in them handy in the palm, and I believe so. They don't get grease. If they ain't get grease yet, you see the grease coming. Because it look like he watching faces of who to prosecute. And I know the law ain't have no mother and no father. The mother done dead and the father never born yet. So we gonna watch it see with that. Because look at the man who break the law with the social security, with the nanny. Look how many times and how long he stay back before he go and do what his duty, what he's supposed to do as an employer. An employer, when employer have an employee working with them and they take out the money, whether weekly or monthly, they're supposed to go and pay it in early enough that if anything happen, the employee could go to the social security for claim. But if you ain't paying nothing, how can the employee go there for claim? So they need to start with he break the law, and he's the one who's supposed to defend the law, and he break it.
Sure.
So what's going to happen? It seems like they're only going to have to poor people and leave them there. And the other person in there who break the law
who hold back the declaration of the assets, why he don't prosecute them? Brother, a lot of things going wrong, and that thing ain't gonna come through like how he talking. He ain't gonna come through. Because them who ain't declare it, we gonna watch it, we're gonna go under the table. Now the ones, let me talk about this snake now. This opposition leader that he's carrying the name, the title, that they need to take away from him, and he need to be taken out of the parliament like a common criminal, because he's not an opposition. He only carrying the title because right now, politically, he's lying in the bed, he's sleeping in the middle of the bed with the Labour Party. And so therefore, when Dr. Harris get up to speak, and that boasting Calypsonian who cannot finish his song, and he get up and he interrupt Dr. Harris every time, so, but point of order what? A lot of times, there was nothing for he to claim a point of order. So the opposition leader, the snake, before he stay in there now, and then defend the other two opposition members like he leave the India and he went because he don't want to get up and oppose the Calypsonian who cannot finish his song. See the cooking is going on in there? They need to do something to get he out of parliament because he ain't solving the purpose the title that he's carrying as an opposition leader. But I'll come back with something else if I got time.
Thank you, my brother. Thanks for your intervention as usual, but it's really a mockery of the Constitution because, truth be told, it is he commands the majority on the opposition benches. He commands 3 of the 5 seats, but whether he is acting like an opposition, that's another question. That's correct. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Hi, good evening.
Yes, sir.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Patches?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. I have shot with a death, so I can't talk.
Take your time.
So, I have a problem. I have a set of sheep.
A what?
A set of sheep.
Sheep, okay.
Sheep and goat.
Okay.
Down the estate yard, Stapleton. Estate yard. This morning, when I touched myself about Minister 5, I hear my phone ringing. I hear phone ringing, so my boyfriend said, well, Jim, that's your phone ringing. So I tell him, that ain't my phone. Well, I went in my bag. I took out my phone. When I look, we had three. Somebody called me.
3 missed calls, yeah.
3 missed calls. Each one of them had 3 missed calls. I went in the WhatsApp. One of the first numbers, it was 20 to 41. So I said, what is that? And then I went in the WhatsApp. When I go in the WhatsApp, somebody said a message say, this you could see the fire burning. You could see the fire burning. Like some places burning. When I check down to the bottom, they say the estate yard down here was burning. It was great house down here was burning. I went back. I called the police station. When I called the police station, a young lady answered. So I gave my name and I explained to her. When I explained to her about the number what I said before, she told me she ain't nothing about it. So I tell her. I asked her, you had a fire in Monkey Hill? She said yes. You don't get it up. The bike said, Jean, for your clothes, when you go down the road. Then I reach out to the head of the Barfield class Paris. The phone ring again. The ring was 20 to 41 again. So the police, give me she name. She asked me if anybody called me. I told her no. She said, well, the sheep had burn up. And all your sheep and your goat been dead. But you know, when the police tell me so, I start to cry. But you know, I got 140 sheep, they burn up.
140.
Somebody got to get like that. I bought up 140 sheep. Some of the sheep, the man I look at them and he says, make it. Because some of them skin burn off. They hear them up, the skin start up. Some of them say sweat. But it's not all the make you comfortable. All the make you comfortable. And you could see like with the light off the fire on the back of the old great house. They light it up before the people come in because somebody they had a camera, got a camera around the house and they said, there ain't no check. They didn't see nobody. Up to now, the neighbors them around they call us. 140 sheep burn up. I had 200 and something sheep. I had 200 and something sheep in a 110. And what really bothered me, I just said 4,500 as a partner. And I went, then I'm going, 9 sheep for $2,000. 6 of them was in lamb. All of them burn up.
Wow.
Then with some coat, I had them in a pen. All of them burn up. When the police came in, the police said, when they went down there, they hear both coins. So when they go down, they try to fight to get at the thing. So when they do get the gate open, because we don't lock them. When they get the gate open, they go up them down dead.
Oh, man.
So see, 9 votes and 8 sheep in a 110.
Wow.
And I had 100 and something sheep in another pen, almost 200.
Oh, wow.
When the police say, when they do, somebody tell them, sheep in the pen there, sheep in the pen. They say, when they do get the pen open, the fire truck comes. And they do get the pen open, 3 sheep run out.
Wow.
But then somebody now says, it's more than 3, but we only find 20 something.
Okay.
Alive. And then they said, look, William. When I have to talk about it, what I come up here.
I feel your pain, I feel your pain.
140 sheep.
Yes.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Which is the last time when I carried them by the sheep, then must be 19th. And last month, January month. And when I carried them down there, I was remember I'm the a fella course. So we animal them up and down there, and he got effing poison them up. You know, that's studying. You know, really not studying. But now the sheep them now the shed burned down with the sheep then. That way I tell the police, I should have come on station, but me not really not studying. So that's when they will make the report.
How long have you been
and
raising?
When the shed done,
I'm sorry, how long have you been raising the animals?
Couple years now I got sheep, I goat, I got cattle, I have pig. Years.
Okay.
You understand? Years.
But you know the one who threatened you?
That is what I tell you. If you say you're poison the sheep then.
Okay.
But me don't really was studying him. Up to this man, the sister tell you she don't the sister said she hear already, but he was good to say that she don't poison the sheep then, and then she had to tell me for the police. He tell you he don't poison them and you should have make a report. I said because me don't really not study him. Me don't have it serious. But now the sheep did shed burn down, that is not what he realized. He is serious because he couldn't get to keep them a poison. So he burned down the shed.
Wow.
And every time, all the people going down to go to the sheep then. All the people going there, and it's a back of it to get. And the 2 all of them the sheep then.
How can you recover from this though? Any thoughts about that?
Because
how can you recover from this dilemma?
How can I recover from this dilemma?
You have lost. Sorry, go ahead.
Because
as you've lost, you said 140 of a flock over 200. So what is the possibilities of coming back? There's no insurance coverage, anything at all. How do you see yourself coming back?
I have to start over fresh.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I got to start over fresh because I say the sheep they leave down there. Mm-hmm. The air look empty.
Yeah.
Because
wow.
Through the smoke. Even I see one the sheep today. You hear and the back burn off. One of them there, with his stomach, burn till you bleed.
Wow.
You understand? Some of them, the sheep, some of the sheep, they feel swell up, the oil parts swell. Up to my grandson tell me this afternoon, right? The sheep, them oil them swelling and they look, they can't see out of the hand. So he asked me, they're going to come down after maybe. But the sheep, they look weak and I bleed and below the smoke.
Okay. Well, my heart goes out to you, my dear. It sounds brutal, very brutal, and I can't even say how we can help in assisting you. But Straight Talk is widely listened and too, and I trust that some of us in the audience, if we have the wherewithal, we can assist you in any way. But I'll try and find out who you are speaking, and then I see if we can get any assistance to you, because that has to be a great loss.
That is 140 sheep, and I walk out. I got it there. I butchered 10 sheep December. And if I sell 50 pounds of meat, I sell plenty.
Okay.
Because people who ask me meat, I just limit and give them.
Okay.
You understand? Because I don't need me one. Me is a woman like to share. Now, if I do them something, why don't you kill the sheep then? And I no man do them nothing.
Right.
From the time we carry down the sheep, this last set of sheep down the device at the cost. Bad we can't do.
Well,
but nobody studying it. Me don't expect to see us killing the sheep then.
Okay. Well, God is in the midst of everything, my dear. That's so we can take it to Him in prayer, and He will obviously find a solution. You know, the road may seem long, but just say to yourself that you're gonna make it. The road is long, your burden is heavy, but just say to yourself that you will make it. God don't like ugly, my grandmother used to say. So I'm sure you will find a way to come back. Okay? I'll try and reach to you nonetheless to see what anything can be done. But thanks a lot for voicing venting your feelings, and I could understand that it's hard to, only who feels it knows it, I always say. But we wish you a speedy recovery, and just be strong. Be strong.
Yes, Mr. Patrick, everybody can be the same thing.
Yes, my dear. Thanks a lot. But
Thanks a lot. Good night.
My pleasure. Good night, my dear. Thank you, bye.
You're welcome.
Wow, that's brutal. Very brutal, my dear. But let's go back to the lines. Call you live.
Good night, Mr. Patrick. How are you?
I am peaceful.
I'm here listening to your live, and concerning the person who was talking about the house on land, I basically have a question I need to ask.
Yeah, you're close to your equipment?
I'm actually a bit far, but
you're getting the feedback. I want the whole world to hear, so just turn it off.
Give me a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute.
Yes, certainly. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Still getting the feedback, but go ahead. Let's see how we can make this out.
Okay. Now I have a question concerning with the house that is being built. Now, if I can recall, I don't think I ever hear the present government stating that in order to get houses, you need to have your own. Well, I can understand their own land, but the foundation part on the whole is something that is just absolutely absurd to me. I said that in relations to, if I can remember some time ago, there was a press conference stating the specifics as to how much each house or smart houses, so to speak, would basically be. So to hear that you have to provide your own foundation, I find that to be very blindsided. Because I'm trying to understand, if you're building a foundation, does that mean you have to contact the same set of contractors who is building the smart houses to build the foundation and then still pay for the smart house what the 119 or however much $1,000 they're going to be basically be paying for. I find that a bit, I don't want to be out of line, but bogus or BS, as we would say.
Well, I found so far, my dear brother, okay, because we love to provide the facts, and this is what the Prime Minister said about the land, I think it was. He said this, but listen to this.
With respect to the cost of the housing, the cost of the house is the cost of the house, but the overall cost can be affected whether you have land or you don't have land. If somebody has his or her own land, obviously it will just be the bare cost of the house. If you are getting land with the house, then of course you have the cost for the house, but if you have an added cost of your land, that can affect the overall cost, and it depends on how much the person would have paid for their land can influence at the end of the day the overall cost.
I'll try to find the other clip, but this is a part of it, information. But I wanted to share that since the gentleman.
Sure, I will also as well look into that as well too, because I find that a bit really, ticklish. Because if that's the case, then I mean something is wrong from someone's end.
So you don't believe what the Prime Minister said? That's what you're saying?
I'm not saying that I don't believe what he's saying.
Okay.
But it's just certain tweaks to that is a bit ticklish.
Is it tweaks? What do you mean?
Well, from where I am right now, I cannot be able to hear the clip. But that's why I was saying that I would look into it and research.
Okay, but you can. I'll play it back for your benefit when you hang up. Then, if you can't hear it, but you can. If you turn your phone down, I will play it for you again. So I want you to hear it before you go off the line. Okay.
Okay. Give me 1 minute.
And my fellow listeners, be with me because I want to provide this information. Here's it. What is this? Why is this not playing now?
With respect to the cost of the housing, the cost of the house is the cost.
Yes, go ahead now.
But the overall cost can be affected whether you have land or you don't have land. If somebody has his or her own land, obviously it will just be the bare cost of the house. If you are getting land with the house, then of course you have the cost for the house, but if you have an added cost of your land, that can affect the overall cost, and it depends on how much the person would have paid for their land can influence at the end of the day the overall cost.
I hope you've heard it though. All right, have you? Are you there, caller? Are you there, caller?
Yes, I'm here.
Have you heard it?
Okay. I've listened to it.
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying I'll get the other information because of in terms of the foundation and so on, right? Because we got that someplace. I'm sure I'll find it, but go ahead, sir.
Okay, well, no problem. Well,
it's still not ticklish though, right?
No.
Okay.
It's just that I just find it a little bit, well, at the time, in terms of listening, that's what I say. I myself will basically go back into the drawing board and actually look into that as well, too. But apart from that, I really appreciate your talk shows. I just want to say keep up the good works, and you have a blessed and prosperous new year as the years goes by.
Thank you, and I wish you the same, my brother.
No problem, brother.
And a healthy one as well. Yes, my Straight Talk family, it's 9:56. I've spent some time, yes, with some of the callers, but it's all about getting information out and making certain that we get the accurate information out, because on Straight Talk, we try to present the facts. This email reads, "Congratulations, Honorable Ian Patches Liburd, erstwhile Minister of Infrastructure in the Team Unity Administration. The whole universe now know that it was you, Patches, who did that by your skillful architect electronics in the construction of the new pier that was enabling to accommodate the world's largest tourist ship to St. Kitts on Tuesday. The naysayers like Dwyer, especially, and Douglas, who grudgingly and impregnated with animosity and hatred, went the length and breadth despising Patches and his excellent conceptualization of this wonderful pier. Today the pier stands as a landmark in the Bastia roadstead, and boundless praises must be given to Patches, reads this email. I'm humbled by that. This other email reads, Patches, I want to say to the PAM candidate for West Bastia, Milo Box, that he must say when he is making joke from when he is serious. Milo Box gave the world the false impression that this Kittitian pilot, Mr. Harvey, will be docking the largest tourist boat, icon of the seas, at the new pier. What foolishness and nonsense Milo Box is saying to us. What he thinks that we are so stupid, foolish and gullible to believe that the Norwegian captain, Mr. Henrik, would entrust the port pilot to dock the newly constructed $2 billion Royal Caribbean cruise ship to the new pier. While you think the ship is a fishing boat, a schooner, or a sloop, the poor pilot couldn't even enter the captain's room, never mind to take over the captain's seat to navigate that heavy computerized dashboard system with numerous levers. Even the captain said that he is still learning the ship functionally. Beg your pardon. You must stop playing around Milo Box. This is not carnival time for you to be playing clown. You know the amount of people you have misled in the diaspora with your lies. You need to apologize and tell the truth. You may even be unwillingly jeopardizing the captain's job. When the ship owners hear a local Kittitian took over the captaincy and sailed the boat to the pier. What damn nonsense you're talking, Milo. And you should know better than that, Milo, after working at the port for many years. If you want to big up the guy for whatever reason, then be honest, man. And don't embarrass the guy like that, having people sending congratulations and praising him for a job he did not do. Milo boy, I am left to wonder now how many people you fooled and deceived during your failed campaigning to become a minister. Joke is joke, Milo Box, but damn joke is no joke. Furthermore, many of these ship captains pay prior visits to the various ports to observe many things, such as the pier structure, the depth of the water, and the wind direction. These are some of the elements they have to take into consideration before actually coming here. It would have been better for you, Milo, to say that Pilot Harvey will be the first Kittitian pilot to get a few minutes ride on the boat from the harbor to the pier. Now, Milo Box, do you realize that your political future has now been compromised? For we all know that you are a liar and a real puppy show. That's that email. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live.
Mr. Patches, greetings. How are you?
I am peaceful, my brother. Greetings to you.
Very spicy topic as usual. But before I make one or two input on your topic, your force shuffled this year. You posted a photo with the three prime ministers of this country. Mm-hmm. One, the sitting one, and two former ones.
Yes.
But as far as I could recall, since independence, we have 4 prime ministers.
That's correct.
So I wanted to ask the question because it keep bothering me. If it was an event, let's say a national event, or did those 3 prime ministers went there of their own?
It was an event. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying it's an event, if I recall, it was an event hosted at the Central Bank for an anniversary event at the Central Bank. I don't know if it was the 40th anniversary of independence or anniversary for the bank. I'll research it, but it was an event which was hosted at the Central Bank, Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, and obviously all these other prime ministers were invited. So I don't know who extended the invitation. I don't know if it was an omission, an oversight, or a deliberate omission, rather, of the third prime minister who was in fact on the Monetary Council for years.
All right. I wouldn't put much more expression on that, but it's a bit ticklish to me. Your topic for tonight. But before going to that too, you spread some word on reconciliation. You said some word concerning reconciliation. And I agree with you. In this country, many of us don't want to examine things from the depths. And for we to go forward, we must examine things from the depths. And we can examine things from a party orientation. Because remember, you didn't get re-elected because it was said it was an association with Dr. Harris. And if we strive in a unity, we shouldn't be thinking them kind of ways at all. So I agree with your words concerning reconciliation. And also, your program Monday to Thursday, I think those 2 days are fitting for now.
Yes.
So keep it that way.
Thank you.
And you see, if we are saying, and also if we are saying widespread unhappiness throughout the Federation, we always have to remember the change that came about. We've been coming with a party polarization politics over the years, and the people say they wanted a change. To pray, remember the Spirit of God is over this country, and many of us seems to be omitting that. And the change happened, and many persons matured their mind to the change because it was an upful change and a high promotion. But many still regard the academic studies is the only way forward and not really looking at the change that the people said they wanted. And you see, you talk also tonight concerning pertaining the DPP and the role he should be playing. And you also talk about a lengthy list. If there's a lengthy list, there shouldn't be no pick and choose. Because the books, the word of the Bible, who sin, they get perish. There's no pick and choose there.
True.
So if we got to live with laws and really saying that we're striving to reform our country, because about reform, we can't feel like we is a rotating democracy. We got to feel ourselves evolving. And if we've got to be evolving, we got to look like we're putting in reforms in things that we do. Because honestly, I do not hear no one even big up the Unity administration with the debt that they paid to the IMF. I mean, it's like many who criticize Dr. Harris, and this is no defense to Dr. Harris because I'm not in the qualification of many of them who get university degrees, etc., etc. But many of them who criticize Dr. Harris, when Dr. Harris was in office, he couldn't defend a party line, Whatever policy he put in place, he had to put it on behalf of the country. Because at the time, remember, he's one of the person in this country who didn't govern the country to say, well, he has the majority of seats amongst the guys, He has the least seats, and that's how flexible the constitution is. He has the least seats, but yet he command the majority of the coup. And that's what gave him the strength. And even though he had the weakness pertaining the seats,
the other two who had more stronger seats than him, they were more powerful than him, you know. But they didn't do the best for the people. They turned their back on the people. So the reconciliation word that you use tonight must be in the thought of everybody's thoughts. Mr. Patches, you continue to be strong. This show is a very, very important show to the country because, you know, providing we say we are Christian-minded people, we got to talk the truth on the issues, you know, and when we talk the truth on the issues, it's better for the whole country. Stay strong. God bless.
Bless you as well. I am in total agreement with you, my dear brother. And like I said, you know, yes, I agree in reconciliation, but I like the Bishop Tutu, the late Bishop Tutu's policy or philosophy, I should say. We must open the wounds, clean them, then we treat them, lest they will always fester. Let's just go back to the lines. Caller, you live. Hello, caller, you're live.
Hey, Patrick, good night. How you doing?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
I'm here hanging out, listening to you as usual. Did you listen to the former Prime Minister conference tonight, his speech?
I'm afraid not, you know. I didn't find the time for it. I'll have to listen to it.
Okay, well, I wanted your reference. I wanted your reference to something that a couple of months ago
you have the equipment on the background there?
Hold on.
Yes,
hold on. Let me turn off. Turn off that TV so long.
Yeah.
That might be the thing that that why you're hearing it.
Okay.
Hearing me.
Okay.
Where's the thing for the TV?
Should be right there. See, when I trust, they focus on
Oh my.
So I can focus on this here.
Okay, let me go there and talk to you because I can't find anything. Anyway, a couple months ago, you and I discussed something, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And in questioning today, the reporter was asking the Prime Minister about more likely why are these people traveling so much? And he referred to, well, ask them if they're getting $400 a day for per diem, I guess they want to go all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I know I pulled you up on that the other day. And I am not saying what he's saying is true, is $400. But if St. Kitts is giving the government workers $400 or instead of $300, that is the biggest ripoff. That's not how you do it. You just don't give people $300 or $400 and tell them go on the merry way and spend it a day. And if I talk to you, you're going to tell me that's the per diem. But per diem is in travel. Per diem is not a word that stands alone. You have to add to it locality per diem. So that means wherever you go, those islands, each island has a different amount of per diem daily. You cannot send somebody to Haiti, St. Martin, Barbados, and a few other countries, and going to give them $400 just like you will give them to go to Los Angeles or New York or Dubai.
Well,
the per diem. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I recall we had a discussion, and if my memory serves me well, you know, a politician once told me we have a 3-day syndrome. After 3 days, we forget. So forgive me if I didn't remember, right?
Yeah.
That's a joke. But from my memory, there is a rate for the Caribbean region, or I think it's Caribbean region, and outside the Caribbean. So if you're in the Caribbean region, there's a lower rate versus.
And that's what I just told you.
Yes, so
that's what I just told you. You cannot expect.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
But I'm telling you how it works here. It's been working for all the years, you know. Once upon a time, I remember when I was a permanent secretary back then, you would have had to get an advance, and then you come back and you clear your advances. Obviously, the hotel and your certain amount of money per meals per day and things like that. And then after sometime, the policy changed way back in the Douglas administration time, and there's a lump sum payment for, excluding hotels, if I remember very well, and then amount of meals.
I guess
so if you want to go and eat hamburgers, it's up to you. But meals could be very expensive, even in the hotels, though. You know.
Okay, and that's understandable. Okay, so that's why I told you cannot expect to give somebody $300, $400, and send them to St. Martin, Barbados, and Trinidad, and then you're sending somebody to New York and thing and give them $400. So everybody getting the same. That is not the way it works.
No, but I don't. When you say everybody, what you mean? I don't quite understand you.
Travelers, government travelers. I'm speaking about government travelers.
Again, I'm hesitating here because most of the trips I've been on paid trips. You know, because we had a policy back then. Unless the trips are no cost to the government, then you should not travel, or you weren't allowed to travel. So but I believe that the ministerial allowance is obviously a little higher than the clerk. I don't think a clerk and a minister will get the same allowance for obvious reasons. But I stand to be corrected. Yeah.
Again, bear with me. Okay.
What's the point? Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, I just want to. The point. What I'm trying to get to you, that the system that is used in St. Kitts is, I'm going to say it bluntly, is robbing the treasury.
Okay.
If you want me to explain, I have the time to explain on how it should work and how it should be, because I know about travel. But I guess you don't have the time. But I think somebody, regardless of party, needs to revisit that on how they are advancing the individual daily when they are traveling. Because if you're talking $300 and $400 and all of these things, and nobody is telling me that actually Caribbean one is that and it. Yes, Caribbean going to be low.
It's different, yeah. But here's what I'll do, because it was raised before, and I like to provide the facts, so I will research it and come back to the program and tell you what my findings are.
Okay, I'm glad. And when you come back, I would ask you to allow me, okay, because I had the experience in writing per diem allowances and entitlements for the federal government. So I can give some insight on when liquidating the travel, on how the reimbursement should be. Okay? But you're going to have to allow me that time that I can explain it from the advance when you leave into the liquidation when you return. The system that my island is using is incorrect. And I can tell you, I had people who work in government, was going on trip for the government, being sent, and they call me and say, boy, Dougie, this is what they're giving me, blah, 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 blah. You know, how much it would have cost? I said, on the normal travel, if it was a federal government, this is exactly what they would have got. But do the research and come back, but you're going to allow me to explain.
Policy don't have to be equated, you know. Policy is policy. If, one government have a different policy, another
I agree with you, sir. I am not trying to mess with your policy, but what I am trying to tell you from a Kittian standpoint, as a concerned Kittian, the way that actually that this government in saying it's paying per diem is raping the treasury.
Okay, well.
Because no American traveler going any place gets that kind of per diem. And I can tell you that.
Okay, well, that's what Straight Talk is all about. I'll get the facts and report back to the Straight Talk family.
But allow me to explain you how liquidation and advance of travel is paid, even if they are using a government travel card.
No problem.
Okay?
No problem. Thanks.
Right.
Thanks for your intervention. We go back to the line. Caller, you live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller?
Hello, put me on the patches.
Yes, just turn your equipment down and.
What you said?
Major, turn your equipment down. This sounds like the major.
Yes, it's the major. It's the major.
Yes, turn your equipment down.
Okay, hold on, wait. Hold on.
Which one?
Hold on, wait. Okay, hold on.
Sorry about that.
All right, Patches, you ready?
Yes, my dear brother. I recognize the voice.
Yeah. What is happening here? I just sitting here. I just got up,
You just get up?
I just thought about you. What was your thesis? You said what was your thesis?
Widespread unhappiness throughout the Federation.
Yeah.
You agree?
Well, I was reading something just a while ago.
You agree?
And I thought about it.
Okay.
And what it said in terms of happiness, it said that happiness is not the absence of a problem. It is the ability to deal with them. You understand that? You understand that?
Yes, Major.
I just was reading that and then I said, boy, let me tease his brain on that there. And then I read twice when I was reading.
Okay.
And then this thing with this what you call this fellow, this rumor that I don't like is this fellow is talking about the captain. This fellow, the captain, pulling in some boat. I don't understand that, but I am worried about it because a boat coming from big country. You think them fellows gonna put you in the quartermaster place? Huh?
On the bridge to take over.
They put you stay on the bridge and even though you may know a little bit about the waves, but you can't go in the room there. This is dancing and people must stop that. It's not good because it's making us feel that we are illiterate.
Yeah, well, we must understand the role of the pilot. I think that's once we bring that out, we'll understand. And the role generally is to inform captains about the local conditions and surroundings and wind direction. As that emailer said, it's correct. But you
see, what I'm saying is, you see, Patches, I don't mind as we express our gratitude to him.
Yes.
As we express our gratitude to him. But we must not never forget that this is a highest appreciation. And he must not behave in that way because it make him look stupid, isn't it? You don't think so? He must stop whoever who's spending that day and they must tell him stop it, man.
He must understand the rule. I understand what you're saying, yeah.
Let him stop it. I'm happy for him and so on, but he must, I don't like that, I am a Kittian and I don't want nobody to be that we are puppy show, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you take care.
Thank you, Major. It's like telling the captain, move aside, let me get your boat. Very interesting perspective. It's 22 minutes past the 10 o'clock hour, my Straight Dog family. I haven't dispensed of my emails, and forgive me for that. Patches, I want to say to the PAM candidates for West Basia, I think we read that before, didn't I? Yes, I think I read that before. Sorry about that. There's a certain very lucky hairdresser woman who was online campaigning for Dr. Jew and Labour. Patches, she used to pepper you, Hamilton and Timothy, with the most derogatory words. At one time, she was a PAM and got many favors. And when she was unable to get more, she broke away. It is said that she got 100,000 loan from National Bank on the instructions of the Prime Minister because the bank had turned her away, claiming that she was a bad creditor and had defaulted on a loan that is still unsettled. In spite of all of that, she still went back for another loan and was refused. It is claimed that she went to the Prime Minister's office and complained that the bank had refused her loan. Again, it is claimed that the Prime Minister called the bank and instructed that she must be given the loan, and she did receive it. If this is the case, then in my opinion, I think that the Big Lies should have been accorded the same privilege. I suppose if Big Lies was wearing a frock, he definitely would have gotten the loan from National Bank on the instruction of the Prime Minister. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patches, I'm here. Patches?
Yeah, I'm going to guide you by the rules of brevity. Yes, go ahead, my brother. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, let me say this, That's the reason I believe that they're getting $400 every time they travel. That is why you find all of 15 of them going to leave the country one time, because they don't learn. Even if they go up in a helicopter and just circle around St. Kitts and come back, they could call it the traveling allowance. Now, if the leader of the country had any love for the people of the country, he would have put something in place so that the taxi operators them could have get something when that big ship come in. But he ain't got no plan for nothing. He ain't had no plan how to run the country. And so he doing what he's doing. All he want to do, everywhere he go, he take pictures. But if a mosquito bite him too hard in the face, he send it on the radio to make news. Because he want his name call a lot every day. Just to see if he could get popular. Again, it can't happen. His popularity gone. But you say, you're going to rule by brevity. So thank you very much until God willing. Have a good night.
Thanks for your understanding. I want to dispense up the emails, so I'm grateful for your indulgence. As a frequent visitor to St. Kitts, I find your broadcast sadly depressing. What has happened to the Federation? My family now expresses reservation about continuing to go to your once promising and welcoming country. The murders are out of control, and how long before the U.S. State Department issues an advisory warning against travel to the Federation, joining Jamaica and the Bahamas? St. Kitts is turning into a kleptocracy and appears to be becoming a failed state, reads this email. Good night, Mr. Patches. It was so disgraceful. No welcome was there on the arrival of the newest and largest ship to the Federation. Is it a political thing? Is this email? Quite understand that one. Good night, Mr. Patches. There were no welcome for the icon. I want to know if it was a political game, knowing you were the one behind of this. What a shame. Reads this email. Patches, good evening. I know it's been a while, but I'm back because I cannot see wrong and call it right, especially when it comes to Congress and his families. Now, Patches going for almost 2 years now, and Congress still has his auntie as permanent secretary for the Department of Technology and Post. Imagine she was on vacation and Congress had a management meeting with the management team at Technology, and Congress argued that he's fed up of that department losing monies every year. Well, Patches let Congress know that the reason for that is because his aunt is clueless and she don't know how to run a ministry, much less a department. She feels the monies are coming out of the pockets and she feels she can spend it how she feels. Imagine she kept a staff dinner. She kept a staff dinner party in December. And when the numbers were to be 150, she got a mere 30. She had the staff up and down, her harassing people for questions. Then at the end, she told the staff she is the boss. But little does she know, she ain't no boss because they aren't afraid of her. By the way, she lucky anybody showed up. She treated the staff like dogs, but she's spending the government's money to buy. I don't think I want to get into that part there. We cannot confirm that, my straight talk family, and I want us to be cautious, even though you are writing those things. I know you hide behind the keyboard, but please be careful. As I observe the many enthusiastic people, including school children, dressed in uniform at Port Zante, looking at the ship docked at the new pier, I ran into Dwyer standing there in amazement. He looked completely lost as he observed so many persons taking pictures of the ship and the new pier. Dwyer should be ashamed of himself to be around the new pier, having denounced, stigmatized, and condemned the pier as a white elephant that will never be used, and it was a waste of government resources. I went so far to say that every project Patches is involved in was bad and had numerous problems. He cited the said pier, Old Road Bay, the Island Main Road, and the house at Wellington Road. You are now eating up your vomit, Mr. Bad-minded and envious grudging Dwyer reads this email. Good night, Mr. Liebert. I have some issues. I want to talk to you. I have my mom in Sadler's home. My God, reads this email. Mr. Liebert, when you say that the convicted criminal was declared persona non grata by the government of Barbados, some people don't understand that Latin word. Let them know in simple language that it means he was not welcomed by the Barbados government, and as a result, he cannot travel to Barbados anymore. And those are the emails, and perhaps I'll take these few calls, my straight talk family, and say good night and thank this caller for holding. Caller, are you there? Hello, caller? Are you there, caller? We seem to have lost that caller. Caller, are you there? Hello, caller?
Yeah, Mr. Patches, how are you, man?
My dear brother, I am peaceful. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to guide you.
Yeah. I didn't open the batting tonight, but I'm surely bringing up the tail end.
You're an opening bat. Why you want to bat last? You want to be an overnight batsman?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Go right on, my brother.
Yeah, but basically, I'm just focusing on the DPP right now. You know what today is, though. Today is February 1st, right?
D-Day, yes.
Yeah, this my birth month, man.
Yes.
11 more days to go, man.
You must be looking forward to that, I'm sure.
Yeah, very much. Still ain't got my 50th birthday party yet.
Okay.
When the corruption in St. Kitts and Nevis get to that 5% or below level, then I'll have my celebration down.
Okay, my brother.
And when that Brian House is removed.
Yeah, what's on your mind quickly though?
Yeah, quickly. What's on my mind is quickly, man. Simply, the DPP today is February 1st. Yes. That's all I want to say, man. We can't afford the DPP's office get corrupted. Long list of people who they claim that didn't file the assets yet, and he's been charged now by February 1st. Was there is printed in the newspaper today?
Well, he did issue a release today, and he has.
So how much persons were charged? How much persons were charged today?
8 persons out of a long list, according to him. Sounds like a joke, but that's. Yes.
The federation is in trouble, man.
Yes.
We have two sets of laws and rules and regulations for 2 sets of people, man. You know what I mean? Yes. This is nothing but a joke, man. The only place that can see a peaceful protest is in Nevis.
Selective justice, we call it, my straight dog family.
Yeah, that's it, man. But it appears that the DPP's office is already corrupted, so the status quo remain.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, have a good night, man. That's my contribution, man.
Thanks a lot, my brother. Have yourself a good night.
Yeah. Have a good night. Have a good night, man. Okay. Thanks
for your intervention. And those are the 8 names listed on your screen there, my straight dog family. And that's the way we're gonna end it for tonight, because I've gone over time. I know. Thank you for your indulgence tonight. I always like to give you back the time when we lost any time at the onset. And for those who may have joined me late as well, I know some people wait until the following day to really review the show on YouTube or Facebook. But tonight we dealt with our thesis, as I intimated earlier, and I can only give you 30 seconds, caller. Can you use it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let me turn my thing down.
Yeah.
That is.
So.
I have a problem. I must say good night to you and good night to
good night, sir.
The listening audience. Now, I have a problem with members of government. As it has stated, government is continuous. And in times of administration, there might be some good deeds and there might be some hanky-panky deeds. But having said that, when a minister have a portfolio and they do good on the portfolio, for instance, you had in your portfolio when you were in government, you had the roads, you had the pier, Port Zante, and someone else had the tourism. Now, I think on a day like yesterday, to celebrate such a one-time situation, the minister who is responsible for the portfolio now, they should have been glad to send an invitation to see the backtrack of what was done and what is yet to come moving forward. But I think if you was not invited, I stand for correction. You should have been invited and to see your work, what was done in the past and others, rather than for the downward spiral game of, Patches didn't do nothing, John Doe didn't do anything. I mean, I find it is selfish with our politicians, and they got to wake up and stop playing this kind of game. And they got to stop it, because this is not nice. For the country to move forward, let the good be good and build upon the good, and let the bad be gone. We don't want to hear about the bad and the mistakes. But if you make a mistake, you should know where to place that person.
My brother, while I appreciate your contribution, I'm really out of time. I promised you 30 seconds, but you've gone 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Could you just wrap in 10 seconds for me, please? I appreciate what you're saying, but I
will cut.
Yeah.
I will cut here, and I arrest my case. Thank you for the.
Thank you for your understanding. My Straight Dog family, I'm really out of time. I know we can stay here all night and speak. There's no impediment to me staying here, except that we have time and we like to keep it in time, because some people in different parts of the world, they stay up, in the UK now, it's after 1 o'clock, I believe, in certain parts of Europe. But I want to thank you, my Straight Dog family, for joining me tonight. And as I was wrapping, I did make mention that my thesis I entitled tonight Widespread Unhappiness Throughout the Federation. And in conclusion, we asked the question, why are so many Kittitians and Nevisians so unhappy with the state of the Federation today? And it is because this new administration, as someone put it, did not get elected because they deserved it. They got elected by default, as the big dread I referred to call it, and that's the way he summed it up. Now, One of the most asked questions by many in the Kittitian and Nevisian diaspora is, how do we live at home? How do we, beg your pardon, who live at home, feel about the state of the Federation? And for the past 18 months, the answer has usually been a negative one. You would hear the cry, nothing a go on, man. But figuring out why people are unhappy is not complicated. St. Kitts Nevis is having a real rough time under the Prime Ministership of Dr. Terence Michael Drew. Things have gone downhill, beg your pardon, in the past 18 or 19 months. My friend has a tendency to say that our country is going down the tube. Dr. Drew has ruined it with everything he's done in the just about 18 or 19 months. Our economy, our increasing debt. And when it comes to the economy, the views of the Federation and the economy go hand in hand. Just 2 days ago, we made history when we accommodated the largest cruise ship afloat today. But there was no trickle down under this administration, and somebody needs to go back to the drawing board when your ambassador or one of your ambassadors, and we know the taxi drivers are our ambassadors, they will say this.
These boats coming here, not for us. We here since morning, look at the crowd. Take a picture. Watch you. I want the public to know in St. Kitts that this taxi thing is how it is. These boats coming here, not for us. We here since morning, look at the crowd. Take a picture, look at the crowd. Nothing going on for us. Everybody on the icon sleeping. All know they come on.
Nothing going on for us. That's what the ambassadors are saying, the taxi drivers. Didn't seem to have the cascading effect in the economy, or we're not having it now for whatever reason. And we know that these floating hotels called cruise ships, they're like shopping malls on board of them. And what is important for them is to ensure that they generate onboard income, whether by the concessionaires on board or the tours ashore. That's how they do it. But the cost of living is way too high. The economy is not doing well. You introduced a hotel for 42 rooms we spoke to you about for $100 million, $2.8 million I think it was per suite. A single mother cannot effectively support a household on her income. The price of everything is too high. That's what everybody is saying. The housing market is terrible. Gas prices are terrible. The economy is terrible, my straight dog family. And the criminality as well. We do have a man with a criminal mind called an attorney general. And he talks about procurement. And procurement is a major plank in good governance. So why would the Attorney General Garth Lucian Wilkin move to sign off a contract for a desalination plant costing over $2 million without a request for proposals to ensure that the money spent from the government treasury will get the best value for the people? But while he's presently at work negotiating, my straight dog family, we are finding out that these guys are so dishonest that if at all it was possible, they would deceive God himself. But God reminds us in the Gospel of St. John. He said, the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it more abundantly. So why is Royal Utilities being handed this special deal, Dr. Joe? Why are they being handed this special deal, so-called engineer Conrads? Why is the Royal Utilities being handed this special sweetheart deal? Disgraced Attorney General Garth Lucien Wilkin. These are questions we need answered. How do we know that we are getting value for money? But every one of these people in government is crooked. They continue to flout the rule of law, and instead they rule by law. Instead they rule by law, and it's sickening. But we are more divided, my straight talk, than we are divided. And one final word about DPP Adlai Smith. In your release, you had an addendum which spoke to a long list. Yes, it said a long list. That if your list is so long, or rather, not to misquote you, you referred to a lengthy list, according to you. A lengthy list was your words. And so that I could be clear and provide the evidence, it's there in your addendum, a lengthy list. So if you have a lengthy list, then it tells us, Attorney General DPP Adlai Smith, then you are cherry picking. You have cherry picked those 8 public officials. And we ask, isn't this contradictory to the principle of equality before the law? This to me looks like the sponsorship of injustice, or to put it more clearly, this looks like selective justice from an independent judicial officer. But we'll follow that story, my straight dog family. But things are bad in housing. We have not even touched agriculture. We have not even touched education, my straight dog family. And we haven't even touched the press conference today. But God's willing, we will connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Meantime, the division amongst the citizens continued to grow. The massive amount of senseless gun violence, poverty. And my Straight Talk, those are the issues that cause the widespread unhappiness throughout the Federation. My Straight Talk family. And that's my story tonight, and I'm not going to change it. But I want to thank all of you who listen. Thousands of you, thanks for your indulgence. For those who called, those who sent emails, I want you to remember and to understand that you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend, my Straight Talk family. Be good to all whom you meet, and remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you must believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now, I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, My God,